Dubuffet's France was the France I grew up with. He was one of the fabulous five of France, alongside Vadim, Sagan, Zizi Jeanmaire and Brigitte Bardot. He was ranked among those in that sort of category of artists who defined post-war France. He saw beauty in almost all parts of the country. From Brittany to the Alpes-Maritimes, Paris, Brittany was huge for him. South of France, of course, was where he met Annabelle for the first time. He would return there and do various paintings over the years. I mean, what is interesting for me about Dubuffet in Paris is that he was born there and he taught in a little school in the Place des Vosges, who taught him all he needed to know just to draw classically. And his experiences of life were formed through his first 20 years in Paris. Place des Vosges painting is hugely important. I mean, it's a great picture from a great period. It's beautifully painted, and it's also got this strong biographical connection to the painter. And I think that that's what I find so interesting about Dubuffet, is the biographical relationship to the work, because there is a significance and one can really understand it better when one knows the life, and the life is fascinating. Place des Vosges is probably the painting I would walk out with. It is Paris, very obviously, but also Paris in the winter. So you've got these denuded trees just reaching for the sky. I mean, he loves lines, so for him it's a God's gift, because he's just doing fenestration and railings and arches. It's a fantastic early and mid-period work. He was still the toast of the intellectual elite. This is Dubuffet at his zenith. You see the influence of his love for the city, his love for history, his love for classicism. I must admit that when I first saw Hôtel au bord de la mer, I thought it was a dreary painting. You have to see these works in person, shall we say. You can't buy a Dubuffet from a website. It's like having half or a quarter of the experience. You're merely registering the image rather than experiencing the painting. So, first of all, that was my first lesson, and it's a lesson I still haven't learned, so I often make the mistake, is you look at it on paper or on the screen and it's flat, and then you see it and it comes to life. The colour tone is fantastic. It's a pale palette, but it's brilliant. The roof line you see heading down into that sort of central vanishing point. The telegraph wires also taking you there, the sea line, the road line. It's a masterpiece, but it's a very quiet masterpiece. Often people can't see behind the signature. If you took the signature away, it would still stand the quality test. Clowns have been portrayed by artists since there were clowns. Everybody painted them. If you're building a Dubuffet collection, it is a piece to have, and it shows how he captures that ambivalence and also the sadness. Sometimes people make a bit too much of that sadness, the contrast between the painted smile on the grin. But it is a very powerful work, and there's no escaping that he did paint many of them. I think sometimes he is a prisoner a bit of that, but it is an emblematic work by this emblematic artist. Ile-de-Port-Cross it's extraordinary because it's a painting, it's a figurative painting that could easily be abstraction. And I think that's what makes Dubuffet so interesting, is that you can come across a painting like that, first of all, he shouldn't really have painted that painting, because that's not him. And also he shouldn't have done it at that time, because he was doing something else at that time. So he did so much, and so much of it was really good. And this is just an example of him just sort of throwing the critics a curveball. You think, well, I can do this too. It's a very clever work when you see it in the context of his canon of paintings. I think Dubuffet's position in today's art world is a curious one. He remains a populist and popular painter, in that there is a sort of democracy about his work. Beyond the mere representational aspect of it, it's a unique document of a fascinating period in French life, the Les 30 Glorieuses, when France believed it was great again.